Welcome to Thursday Night Knives. I'm Bob DeMarco. Coming up, we're going to take a look at a new knife that I got from Shane. I'm very, very excited about this. Also, Dagger, Tanto, or Bowie, and why. We're going to talk about that and all sorts of other stuff on this fine evening. Also, we're going to do an all-access giveaway. When I say all-access, I mean this is for anyone who's here. And tonight, it's the Adamante Samson. And this thing is really cool. This is one that Dave gave me to give to you a long time ago, but I've been kind of holding on to it because I like it so much. Who doesn't like a cruciform dagger that waves out of the pocket? This is designed by, do you know him, Brutalica? I used to follow him on Instagram. I think I need to re-find him there. But Russian guy, knife dealer, and seems to be a cool dude. And this was a knife he designed. I believe this is made by Ganzo. It's made by Ganzo, and it's really nicely made. It's got a nice weight to it. It's all like steel and G10, and it's a beauty. So we're going to give this away. If you can put hashtag knife, if you can type that out in the chat, you could win this. You'll get thrown on the wheel, and we will spin the wheel, and you may or may not win it. All right, there you go. All right, I need to jumpstart with some coffee. Dave, how you doing, sir? Dave will help jumpstart me. Dave, OG Blade Reviews, welcome, sir. Lots of blade option questions lately, Bob. Good evening and happy Thursday Night Knives. My best answer is going to have to be like ordering a smorgasbord, one of each, please. Yeah, I cannot disagree with you. And I like it when those blade shapes start to flirt with each other and you get like a recurve clip point Tanto, something like that. Have a nice day. Nice to have you here, sir. Junkalos. I have all of them, but the Bowie. A Sure Defense is a classic that is proper for any occasion. I have all of them, but the Bowie. Fishbag, nice to have you here, Craig. Evening, Bob, Jim, and all. Bowie is king. Tanto second, Dagger third. Dagger has a specialized purpose, piercing. Tanto can do it better, plus more. Bowie can do all of those things, all of those jobs way, way more. Yeah, I agree, though. Certain daggers, like the Cold Steel Taipan or the, I don't have it out, the Randall #2, that have hollow grinds and nice big bellies, you can slash with those all day long. So they might be dual purpose. Marco, nice to have you here, sir. Evening, Bob, Jim, and Junkies, he says. Evening to you, sir. I'm trying to caffeinate and hydrate, and it's they're at odds. James Hart, nice to have you here, James. Good evening, everyone, he says. Okay, time to think this question over. You know I love Bowies, but I also love Tantos. Here's a case in point, one I just got from Dirk Pinkerton, one that I've always loved, this Lum Tanto. So a beautiful, beautiful knife. It has my heart with its design. So I am like the wind. Carino, nice to have you here, sir. Good evening, Jim, Bob, and fellow junkies. Hopping on the Bowie wagon for tonight's question. Why? Thursday Night Knives, peer pressure. Maybe I'm stacking the deck because I asked, why is the Bowie so awesome and the bestest of all time last week? So pretend I didn't ask that last week. Let's be totally fresh, shall we? Ground Fog, nice to have you here, sir. Ground Fog with us. James Hart says, depends on what you need the knife to do. Yeah, but what if you need it to do everything? There's one obvious answer. Matholomew, nice to have you here, sir. Happy Thursday Night Knives, Bob, Jimmy Notes, and Junkies all. Love the other two, but Bowie all the way. In my humble opinion, the most versatile, most aesthetically pleasing, and on a purely scientific level, the most objectively badass. Very, very objective and scientific. And I concur. Split and Slices, nice to have you here, Byron. I liked your pocket check. Today, let's see. Hey, or not your pocket check, your unboxing today. Split and Slices says, hey, Bob, Jim, and Junkies. Well, it doesn't happen often, but the knife plum whooped my backside today. Hot shower, dual action Tylenol, hot tea, and some Eddie Dalton to fall asleep. Good night, all. Good night, man. I hope you have a fine evening and enjoy that new Birch River Camp knife. Is that what it's called? The new Rosecraft. What a beauty, man. I love that. Sword XXXY. Good to have you here, Sword. Good day, Bob, Jim, and Junkies. A good day to you down under of the three, probably a Bowie for the back cutting and thrusting ability, although I'm comfortable with all three types. It does seem like if you're going for an all-arounder, Tanto could be. I think that I'm sorry, Three Dog Knife has proved that outdoor Tantos are a great thing. But for me, it's the Bowie. Red Flag Blades, nice to have you here. Michael, good evening, Bob, Jim, and fellow junkies. A good purpose-built Bowie knife will fulfill all of the uses that the other two do, but not the other way around. It's Bowie for me. Gotcha. I don't know why I stalled out on that, but for stabbing a Bowie knife is lacking. I don't know. Well, here's one that isn't. And I got to say, that tip here, let's look at this tip. This is actually, Cold Steel is very good at making a thrusting dagger. Yes, it's not a dagger. I'm sorry, a thrusting Bowie is what I meant. And yes, it's not a dagger, but I think it will thrust better than a Tanto. And I think this will go into more than a Tanto. I think Tantos are very strong, American Tantos, but I think there's a little bit of mythology. I think they're a little obtuse up front. I think they're a little, whereas a Bowie knife really comes to that diamond point, and if it's stout like a Trailmaster, for instance, I think it's going wherever a Tanto is going, personally. But I would have to actually put some scientific method into that, and I haven't. An American Father, nice to have you here, American Father. Hello, friends. Hope all is well. Hope you're doing great, sir. As far as Dagger, Tanto, Bowie, with the skill set I possess, the Bowie will handle the most tasks. Yep, I agree. Well, I don't know your skill sets, but I think it will handle the most tasks, period. An American Father says, but as always, the task determines the tool. And versatility does not necessarily mean supremacy in this case. Like, for instance, you might have an instrument, or you might have a car that is kind of good at everything. Well, jack of all trades, master of none. You get the idea. So it could be that I don't know. I lost my train of thought. Terminator Joe, nice to have you here, Terminator. Oh, I saw Terminator Joe, and I'm like, oh, here's something Terminator would like. He says, good evening, brothers of the blade and sisters of the slash. Of course, I got to go with the Bowie. It's an all-American blade and can chop, slice, and it's just damn cool. And I know right now, I don't know, but I know that right now he's got some variation of this on his person at the moment. Ichthiander, nice to have you here, sir. Hey, guys, he says. Well, hello to you. Hope you're doing well. Benedict Odie, how you doing, Ben? It's a pleasure. Good evening, junkies. Bob and Jim, Tanto or Bowie, love daggers, but they don't actually make it into my carry. Yeah. They do every once in a while. Edgy American, good to have you here, Shane. Hello, peeps. Let me show you something Shane sent me today. He sent this a few days ago, but it arrived today, and it's awesome. Thank you so much, Shane. I love this. He offered this up to me. He had I had mentioned how much I wanted to get a lightweight version, and he said, I have a crew wear version. I'll give you a great deal on it, and he did. And it arrived, and it's beautiful. And man, I don't need it any more lightweight than this. My gosh, this is like already a super lightweight knife. I can't, like I said, I don't need to go anymore. And plus, it's crew wear, which is better than other wares. Really, really nice. And I think Shane may have put an edge on this. It is really, really screaming sharp. Really nice knife. And he put some wax in that micarta. Just a beautiful, beautiful knife. I've been carrying it since I got home from work today and digging it. Koban, nice to have you here, sir. Hello. I got some cool knives from Seki, the Hattori 3717 Tanto, the Sog Nomoto fighting knife, and the Tak Fukumata Fairburn. Well, I don't know that last one. I know Hattori, the brand, but I'm not sure about that. Tanto. I'm sure these are all cool because I love the Seki knives from the 80s and 90s. So nice snag, sir. Edgy American says Gonzo has always been surprisingly done well for the price. Yeah, this thing seems really stout, and the fit is very nice, and the finish is very nice. It's just a cool looking knife. And actually, I thought I'd always sort of fold this into my collection, but never have, and now it could be yours. Ichthyander says, woohoo! Hashtag knife. All right, man. Hopefully this is yours. Of those three, I prefer a Tanto. Look at you. You prefer a Tanto over, oh yeah. Well, you're kind of a Warncliffe guy or a sheep's foot guy, and you get a lot of straight edge on most Tanto. So I guess I see where you're coming from. Cesario Atan, nice to have you here, Cesario. Good evening, Bob, Jim, and good folks. I'm with OG on this one. Yes, because why not? Oh, and speaking of Cesario made this beauty. He is a sheath maker extraordinaire, and this leather, he sent 3 leather sheaths. 2 of them are black. One of them is side mounted, and then 2 of them hang like this. And this is the burgundy one. And somehow this has become mine. And then we'll do giveaways of the others. But they are incredibly beautiful. I'm sure you can look. Most knife junkies are familiar with good looking leather when you see it. And this is outstanding. So we got a couple of great leather people in our audience. Terry of 1931 Leatherworks, Cesario Atan. Let's see, Vichernandez, Texas. Vichernandez, Texas. Good to have you here, Vichernandez. Okay, what am I going to? Vicher. I'm going to call you that. Vic Hernandez. I'm an idiot. I'm sorry. Well, maybe I'm not an idiot. Maybe I'm brilliant. Vic Hernandez. Vic. Hey, Vic. I come from a family of Vics. My brother, my nephew, my father, my grandfather, and then a couple of second cousins. Victor is huge in my family. So the fact that I called you Vich, Manaj. All right. So how excited are you hearing about Ling Thompson making a comeback? I will tell you, Vic, I am so incredibly excited. As a matter of fact, I just interviewed him on Monday night, and we're going to put that show out on Sunday. And I'm very, very excited. I am so excited, Vic. Speaking of which, Vic, I have to tell my brother, that this is happening. I've known for a couple of days, and I still haven't told him. And he's one of the original Cold Steel fans with me. Maybe it's like I'm a doctor withholding information from a nurse or something, but I got to tell my brother, Vic. Anyway, Coben, my favorite fighter knives are the Nemoto North Mountain Blade fighter knives and the Cat's Alley Cat. Oh, yeah. I remember the Cat's Alley Cat. That's cool. Yeah, that's a deep cut. Nicely done, sir. Fishbag says, love that Adamanti. I had 3 of them. I gave 2 of them away to friends. I still have one for me. It's awesome. It waves so nicely out of the pocket. And it's a great bayonet style blade. Very nice piercer. Very sharp blade. Nicely done by whatchamacallit, Ganzo. Benny's dad, nice to have you here, Benny. Greetings, Bob, Jim, and fellow junkies. If I could only pick one of the 3, it would be the Tanto, mainly because, in my opinion, it's a little more versatile for a wider range of tasks. That's cool. I'm glad you think that way. I've always wondered why the Tanto wasn't held up as more of a survival knife shape. But there are people such as Have a Knife Day who are way more experienced in those kind of survival skills and probably could furnish me with an answer. Have a Knife Day says, upon the crest of the Green Beret is the V42 fighting knife. Still choosing the Bowie. Very nice. If you didn't know, Have a Knife Day. Yes, an original badass. 1931 Leatherworks. Nice to have you here, sir. Speak of the devil. Your ears must have been ringing. Bowie, because I do not like a Tanto or a Dagger. How can you not like a Dagger? I could see. Hello, everyone, he says. And I shouldn't be second guessing your opinion. It's your opinion after all. But I mean, Symmetry. Five Door. Good to have you here, Five Door. Greetings, Bob, Jim, and Junkies. Tanto or Bowie is tough. I'll go Bowie. Looks coolest and is versatile. Yeah. And it's American. Or American, I should say. OG Blade Review says, wow, I had that Lum Tanto many, many years ago. Lucky dog. No kidding. Okay, so I looked him up, and I think, well, actually, now that I say I looked it up, I did, but I don't remember which release this was. I think it was the first, but it's sort of a weird handle material, but I really like it. It's almost like fake rock or something. Hard to explain, but a very nice knife. Sean, nice to have you here, Sean Clark. Good evening, Bob, Jim, and Junkies. Hope everyone is well. I'm going with Bowie, even though I like them all. Just got my first Elishewitz knife today. Oh, those are oh, yes, sir. MacV Sog with both edges sharpened. Loving it. So he just posted one, I don't know, 2 or 3 days ago. I'm not on Instagram as much these days, but I just caught one of those, and oh my gosh, man, I admire that choice. What a beautiful knife. I would love to get one of those. As a matter of fact, when I saw that knife in his Instagram post, I was like, maybe this is my special knife for Blade Show this year. But that's like very special. Fred Ferbemeyer, nice to have you here, sir. Late, but made it. Hello, Bob, and everyone. Hope everyone is good. We are good. Hope you're doing well too, sir. Lost Shark, nice to have you here, Lost Shark. Hello, all junkies, Jim and Bob. Tanto for me, although all three have a place in my heart. Yeah, me too. Me too. Let's be clear here. Like this, for instance. Well, we all know about my very first cold steel Tanto. Talk about it a lot, but this new one I also love. I mean, what a great knife. This big, long Tanto feels great in hand. It's very, very sharp. You could do a lot with this, I feel. Co-Bunny says, I really love the Odin Wolf D2 fighter knife and dagger. I think it's called the Sow Catcher. Funny you should say that, Co-Bunny, because I have one of those for sale. I will offer you a good deal on it if you email me. Shooter LDB, good to have you here, Shooter. Have you changed your name, or am I just I've recognized the face, that's for sure. Shooter, great to have you here. He says, good evening, junkies. Good evening to you, sir. I was just showing off this. What do you think? Well, should probably pull it out. Have a nice day says, Jim Bowie did not dispatch his sandbar opponent with a slash, but a stab. Yep. And probably a little bit of this. Edgy American Blade says the Tanto doesn't pierce as well, but it's much stronger tip designed for piercing armor. Yeah. Well, here, let's look at these two, actually. I want to look at this tip and this tip. Co-Bunny. I think all of them can stab people pretty easily. Yep. Yeah, right. Exactly. Look at the difference. Man, they are both beautiful. But it looks like the one on the bottom could slip through with that swedge on top and that more gradual front flat portion. But this one has a nice secondary tip for that sort of snap cutting, slashing kind of action. So, both great. What am I going to say? Northern Knives, another one's ears are ringing. We were just talking Three Dog Knife and the Tanto. Northern Knives. Mike, good to have you here, sir. Hello, Jim, Bob, and Junkies. Happy to be able to make another Thursday Night Knives. Happy we're all here again another week later. How cool is that? It's a way to mark time, in a way. A good way to mark time, Not that time is just flying, man. And I think it's because I'm getting older, but I know a lot of people think that we've jumped timelines. But I don't. I swear I don't. Fred Ferbermeyer says, Bowie because it can do everything and just feels so good. It does feel good. It does feel good, especially with a sharpened swedge. Bowie with a sharpened swedge. Terminator Joe says the Bowie is the most versatile, but the Tanto is a better fighter, and the Dagger is a better stabber. Ooh. All right, let's look. Okay, here's a fighting Bowie. This is the hog tooth here with a sharpened, like an actual sharpened clip. Here, let me get some of this beautiful clutter out of the way. And this is what the hashtag knife is. So hashtag knife to win that in about, I don't know, 40 minutes or so. That's what I say. But all right, so let me put these away so we can show this. Okay, what's a better stabber? Let's see. Where is the, I'm sorry, guys. Where's the dagger? Oh, here it is. Ooh, this is an especially good one. All right, let's look. All right, there you go. Now we can just look at it and we don't have to, you can let me know what you think. But I'm going to leave this up here for a minute. Jim, if you switch shots, does that have all points in it? Let's see. There we go. Yep. A true Tanto. Okay. All right. Lost Shark. All right. Let's do this. Lost Shark. A true Tanto is 9 to 12 inches as a proper Bowie, which makes them almost equal, especially a double-edged Tanto. Oh, double-edged Tanto. Okay. Wait, hold it. Lost Shark. Are those real double-edged Tantos, or are those a figment of our Western current day imaginations? Because I think they're cool. And I've seen some, but only customs. I've never seen historical examples. So let me know. And then also in terms of the length, that's interesting. I didn't know that. Co-Bunny says, wow, that is a very nice Spyderco knife. Yes, it is. It is a really nice knife. And Dirk made an incredible sheath for it. I know that Dave of OG Blade Reviews has a number of sheaths made by Dirk. They're the best, in my opinion. Angry Tom's Hat Next Door says, I often carry these 3 blades. A lot of the time, these 3 blades shape the ones I will carry. I have all my bases covered already for anything. That's awesome, man. So, okay, Angry Tom's Hat Next Door doesn't have to choose because he walks around with some version of all of these all of the time. I love that. Lion, not a sheep. Nice to have you here, Lion. What's up, y'all? What's up with you, man? I hope you're doing well. My youngest daughter is trying to adopt y'all, and it's cute watching her try and make that happen. Edge American Blade says, I touched up the edge a bit. The native chief has always been deceptively light. It's really light. Yeah, and the edge on this is so sharp. This is a great knife. I had the run-of-the-mill one that first came out in S30V. I loved it, but of course gave it away to try and buy something, or sold it to buy something else and regretted it. Adrian Fighter 35, nice to have you and yours with you. Good evening, Bob, Jim, and fellow junkies. American Tanto is number 1 for me for stabbing, slashing, and chopping. Number 2 would be Bowie. Dagger has little use. It could work cool to have. Okay, before you let this go, Jim, before you take this off, let me address this. So what I think the American Tanto is best for is this. Percussive snap cutting, like this. Like, bang. Now, I've never done this in a real knife fight, obviously. But just in anecdotal testing against cardboard and stuff, and then you can see the Culbertsons do this against meat and denim and stuff. That snapping cut, like you have a drumstick in your hand, and the real contact is in these first 3 fingers, and then some here and a little here. So you get that rotation, and you get the energy coming out, and you use that front tip area, especially that secondary tip. Bang! It's really, really, really horrible and nasty. So for that, and then for the Bowie, I would say yes, slashing and chopping, but also thrusting and back cutting, and that's what wins it. Yes, the dagger, you can slash with it and thrust, but that's what wins. The Bowie has it all. The Bowie does have it all. That sounded so like I was cooking the books there, but it's true. Bobby Rains, I bet Bobby agrees. Bobby, maker of some of the most amazing Bowies you'll ever see. Bobby Rains, nice to have you here, sir. Evening, everyone. Bowie, assuming proper design, it does everything the others will do and more besides. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm getting at too. All that and a bag of chips, as they very wittily said in the 90s. Todd Carr says, good evening, everyone. Todd, nice to have you here, sir. Jason Small, how you doing, Jason? Made it. Hashtag knife. Always good to see you here, sir. Jeff Wright, good to have you here, Jeffrey. Jeepney. Well, Jeff, always a pleasure. I was a Tanto guy, and then I got a Turner CNC Jackalope XL, a beautiful clip point blade. Oof. And now you are a clip point or Bowie guy, I'm presuming. Edgy American Blade says, if any of you are friends with Jacob Vargas, I'm worried about him. Let me know if you've spoken with him. Oh, Jacob Vargas is a frequenter here. I hope he's doing all right. Jacob, if you're listening, speak up. Shad, nice to have you here, sir. Evening, Bob, Jim, and fellow junkies. I favor Tanto blades for various jobs I do at my job. Hashtag knife. I could see that. I could see having a use case where the Tanto would be especially good, especially certain kind of Tantos. It's like saying car. How much does a car cost? But like having that front, if you had a smaller one of these for a utility EDC, having that front chisel kind of thing for scraping and having that flat edge, flat sharp edge would be great for utility. Michael, nice to have you here, sir. Good. Michael Spahich. Good to have you here, Michael. Good evening, everyone. Hashtag knife. Indeed, hashtag knife, because he wants to win this super cool Brutalica designed, Gonzo made, what is this called? Adamanti Samson. I'm sorry. So many names. It just got clouded. Adamanti Samson. You can wave this sucker out of your pocket. Beautiful with that classic bayonet blade and that sort of cruciform shape. You got great guards. You're not going to run up. Matt, nice to have you here, Matt Maurer. You're not going to run up onto that blade, but also you can use it to wave the blade out. What kind of Tanto? The Japanese or American? Well, American, like this American, like faceted like that. Because that's what makes that's what differentiates. Like if it was a Japanese Tanto, it kind of wouldn't be, the edge wouldn't be different enough from the other two edges. Vlad, nice to have you here, Vlad Tepes. Let's see. I think we're discussing minor differences here, but don't affect the outcome in a real situation. Moderate thrusting force with any tip shape will unalive someone. Oh, well, that's for sure. We're not necessarily talking about killing people, though. Oh, I mean, that factors in. I think personally, I think that self-defense or fighting should be a major consideration but that's just because of my interests. But that's not 100% about the argument. Can it unalive someone? Yes. Hammer does that niftily too, but this, which between the three do you prefer? Todd Carr says, prefer a drop point, honestly. Ugh, drop point. Huh. Pshaw. No, I'm just kidding. They're great. And I have a lot that I like. Like, for instance, this I just was talking about, but something about the drop point. It like sucks the air out of the room. Prefer a drop point, honestly, but after I'd go Tanto for the stronger tip and secondary edge for EDC. I'm just kidding. Of course, we all love a drop point, and I don't mean to exclude the drop point. I love the drop point. Some of my favorite knives are drop points. Edgy American Blade says, Bob, I'm currently making Soap McTavish. From Modern Warfare 2. Okay, I don't know what that is. I'm stoked about this one. I don't know Soap McTavish from Modern Warfare, but I have played Modern Warfare, I think. I'm not a gamer, as you may have guessed. Koban, but that sounds cool. Explain it. Tell me what that is. Describe that knife. Is it a... okay, I'm guessing it's one of two things, Shane. It's either like that Black Hawk barong that came out 10 years ago, a large fixed blade, looks like barong, or because I've seen that in video games, or it's like a big jagged faceted tracker, Tom Brown tracker. Tell me if I'm right. Coburn says the Cold Steel Recon Scout prototype is still for sale. Nobody bought it, and it's only $1,000. Well, dude, times are tight, and not everyone has our enthusiasm. If I had a lot more than $1,000 spare dollars for knife buying, I might consider that. But for me, prototypes, I totally get the prototype fascination. To me, I'm proud of the ones I have from a couple of friends, but that's about it. But I just want a Recon Scout. But I totally respect your collecting the meaningful ones like that. Shooter, nice to have you here. Oh, I already said nice to have you here. Got my Null Knives Vandal in the mail today, and I am so stoked. Well, congratulations. It's always a nice day when something cool shows up, but that is especially that. I mean, that's a luxury, sweet luxury knife. I like luxury knives. I mean, all of these are luxury knives. Matt Maurer says, Tanto and Bowie's are my favorite two blade shapes, but Bowie for tougher cutting tasks and Tanto for EDC. Yeah. I mean, and we haven't mentioned, that is an astounding blade shape, but we're not talking about that. Langsterful, nice to have you here, Langsterful. Good evening to all, and hit and like and share. Thank you, sir. Thank you. And let me just say, also put #knife in the comments if you want to be in the running to win this very cool knife. Designed by Brutalica, made by Gonzo. Fishbag says, Bob, the combat knife episode you did started a trend over here. I just got the Ontario 498. Oh, an SP1 case USMC. Oh my gosh. Okay. I want that case USMC because it's got that sharpened swedge. The K-Bar modified Tanto Keng Sheng. I'm not sure what that is. And Cisco knockoffs and a Kershaw Decimate for giggles. What's that? What is the Decimate? That sounds awesome, man. I'm glad I started something there. Terminator Joe says, also, you are correct. Two Espadas in gray and red. See, I'm clairvoyant. James says, good evening, all. Here I sit in my office looking at 3 cold steel knives. Sometimes it's just the simple moments in life that make it all worthwhile. The 1917 Frontier Bowie, the Arkansas toothpick. So I love the Frontier Bowie. I have that one. The Arkansas toothpick I bought from my brother, and so had here for a short period of time. Very, very nice knife. Speaking of Dagger, a giant one. And the Magnum Tanto 12. That's this one I keep showing off. Hard to decide. Wow, you really, okay, you're running the gamut there. And well, maybe you don't have to decide. Maybe you can just choose all. Look at that. I don't know why it took me so long to get back on the Tanto kick, but I love that thing. Coben says, no, not love. I really like that knife. Coben says, I have more Tantos than I do fighter knives and daggers. I only have a few daggers and the Taipan, Fairbairn, and Odenwolf. Okay. Hang on a sec. I don't know how to do that. All right. Wonderful to be here, says Ichthyander. Well, it's wonderful to have you here. The more, the merrier, especially if we like talking about this stuff. Defo Zappo, good to have you here. Almost 90% of fatalities from knives are stabbing, not slashing. Yeah, and they're kitchen knives, the cheapest, shittiest, crappiest kitchen knives. And not that, I mean, it's a horrible crime and it's a horrible sin and it's a horrible affront to God to just randomly stab and kill someone. So I'm not in any way belittling that. So put that aside. But kitchen knives, that always gets me. That native chief over all of them, says Defo Zappo. I gotta say, sir, I am digging this thing, and it's nice to have it back. Not it, but this model back. It made sense. I don't know why I got rid of the first one, but I guess it was so that I could get this one eventually. I also would love to get the military too, and I have the police, the original police classic that I love so much. Well, this is a modern day version of the classic one. and with the military too, all of my large Spyderco knife like yearning will be done, except for what was that big giant one, 5-inch blade they came out with, kind of awkward with a clip point, didn't last long. It was a big one though. I wouldn't mind having that. And also the big Zabo. Blue Bronco, nice to have you here, Blue Bronco. Hello from Washington State. What a beautiful place. Now, it's been 40 years. It's been 40 years, been longer than that. 44 years since I've been there. But it left an impression. It was so beautiful. Let's see. Imran, nice to have you here, sir. Good evening, all. Happy Thursday night. No, I was like, I didn't. Happy Thursday night, Knives. My daughters say I'm clueless when it comes to things like that. Defo Zappo says, I love the sharp angle on the American Tanto style because of chiseling, and that sharp angle is good for draw cuts. Oh, so like if you have an EDC version, pretend it's not 12 inches long and you're just cutting down the seam of a box or something. Yeah. Something I like about a lot of American Tantos is the hollow grind and then the flat grind up front. Coben says, I read that an untrained person with chef knife has 95% chance of winning against an unarmed person, even a martial artist. Well, shit, yes. Yeah. Dude, you could be a martial artist your entire life and be the baddest one in every class you've ever been in and win street fights, but a knife comes out and you can, that's it. Yeah. So, yes, I think you are absolutely right. Yeah. Doesn't take much. An athletic, you don't have to be athletic, but think of the most athletic person you know who doesn't know how to knife fight, and then put a knife in their hand and then imagine fighting them. And I don't want to do that, even though I've had knife fight training. I mean, I put it in quotes because, it's training. Brown Sugar, nice to have you here, Brown Sugar. Hello, Bob, Jim, and fellow junkies. Hello to you, Brown Sugar. Hope the world's treating you well. Defo Zappo says, a true Tanto also has a boshi or a thumb-shaped tip. Thumb-shaped tip. What do you mean? What's that mean? Do you mean that it's not a chisel tip, it's more of a gradual sweep to the tip, or are you saying it's rounded? I don't think you're saying that, but that's what I pictured the way you worded it. Anyway, let me know, clarify. Jarl, good to have you here, Jarl. Hi, everyone. Hello to you. Jarlsberg is my wife's favorite cheese, and you know what? I love it too, and I'm sorry that your name just reminded me of a cheese, but I think I'm a little peckish. Edgy American Blade says, Bob, did you know the original Sykes dagger had a bend in it to conform to the human hip? Yes. Right here. Right here. I got one. Yep. Yes, I did. And I think that's very cool. And it reminds me of Wingard wearables. And yeah, it's nasty, wicked little thing. My brother, being cool, got me that. Yep. We've been looking at those in books forever when we were kids, and then he snagged me one. Chris, nice to have you here, Chris. Evening, everyone. Good evening to you, sir. Hope you're doing well. Lost Shark says it has a different name, the double-edged Tanto style knife. Just can't recall the name at the moment. Okay. All right. I feel like I've seen modern-day reproductions of them or modern-day versions, but I never knew if that was an actual thing or if that was like me being like, oh, let's double-edge it. Why not? Because double edge is great. Defo Zappo says, just got the native 5 in 15V. Oh, nice. And it's the only one that might replace my PM2 with Lotus scales. Let me ask you, Defo, what are you hoping to get out of the 15V? And that's not a snide question. I'm actually curious because sounds awesome. And I am just not, I don't know much about steels. Even years and years and years into collecting, it's just not an area of interest that much, though. I do know there are certain steels that I love. So what are you going to get out of it? Let me know. I'm curious what you think. Vlad says, I usually carry a sheath knife or a cold steel folder. Push dagger on my other side if they happen to go for my main hand. Very cool. Do you like the cold steel push daggers? those were the very, very first knives that Lynn Thompson made, were push daggers, and then he did the Tanto, and I think that's cool. I forgot all about that. I remember hearing that and him telling us that a long time ago, but I forgot. I always just sort of assumed it was the Tanto, because that was the first one I knew about, and then later the Safekeeper came out. I thought it came out later. Coben says use the Fairbairn grip so you can use your wrist to flick. Yeah, yep, it's got that. Yep, and this one has a similar kind of Coke bottle. Actually, this one perfects that because you can flick this way too, with that sort of shovel grip, as I like to call it, and that's how you do a snap cut most effectively with a dagger, is with it flat against your thumb, snap cut like that rather than like that. When you snap cut with a Tanto, you have that secondary edge. When you snap cut with a Bowie, you have all that weight forward, or you can flip it and you have the relative hawk bill of the clip to do that snap cut with. Let's see. The Fairbairn grip lets you keep your shoulder in a neutral position and avoid injury. I'm not sure how that works, but that's interesting. That's a cool, that's an interesting tidbit. Autumn Wind says, oh, okay. I think I know where to look and find out about that. Hello, Bob. Autumn Wind says, hello, Bob. Thanks for hosting us all. It's my pleasure. Too easy, sir. #knife, she says. Todd Carr says, serrated fighting knives do horrible things to fleshy things and draw cuts. Oh, yeah. Acts almost like a chainsaw, ripping and tearing. I mean, I am not one who likes to look at gore, especially real gore, but I've seen a few pictures of wounds made by knives like this. And yeah, it's pretty jagged. It looks like a lot of work to close up nicely. Quickly to the ballistic gel torso for some stab testing. Yes, yes. I wish. How many thousands of dollars for one of those? I'll take one. I'll take two. Jarl says, at my camp in Vermont, I'm going to be up in Saratoga in 10 days. I'm very, very excited. Close to Vermont, but beautiful part of the world. Anyway, at my camp in Vermont, American Tanto has also far been the most useful, effective for camping tasks. I'm vindicated by a real outdoorsman. Thank you, sir. Jeffrey Wright says, I have the Cold Steel Magnum Tanto, carry a lot and love it. Her name is Smite. Yes. Jeffrey, I like the cut of your jib. Naming his favorite knife, Smite. Naming his favorite knife, first of all, and then the name itself. Shane says, Adamante was Gonzo's attempt at slightly higher end models. I forgot about them. Adamante, I don't think I ever heard of them before this model. And it is definitely higher end. It feels higher end. And I've had a few Gonzos here and there. Or Ganzos. I'm not sure how you're supposed to pronounce it. Jammin' Parker. Good to have you here, Jammin'. Evening, everyone. I prefer the Bowie for its versatility. There are advantages to the dagger in martial use. The center medial ridge makes the tip very strong and will have the most piercing power. Okay, here's a question for you, Jammin', and everyone. Tanto, dagger. Tanto, Bowie, or one-sided dagger. A dagger that's only sharp on one side, which is an embarrassment to the species, if you ask me. And I mean the human species, not just the dagger species. OG Blade Review says, if I stretch Bowie to mean that particular profile, I'd say that the ultimate carry for me in that style would have to be, yes, the Frogman Field Knife by T. Kell. That's a great, yes. That's a great clip point blade. To me, that's a clip point, not quite a Bowie, but we're actually not talking about what makes a Bowie a Bowie. We are talking about that profile. So more of a clip point actually than a Bowie, but yeah, that's a nice knife. That's a beauty. Lost Shark says, I'm more of a traditional Tanto over American Tanto blades. Although there are some are done very well. Well, what are your favorite production traditional Tantos? I'm curious. Like I like the I have the Hisatsu, or the Hisatsu from CRKT. That's one of the earlier collaborations with James Williams. What a great knife that is. I show it off here every once in a while. It lives in our bar next to the bottles, just in case. And that seems rather traditional to me. Is that what you're talking about? Jammin says, I do not have much knowledge or experience with Tantos. Well, you know what? You should. Not you should by now. That's not what I mean. But like, you should, just as an experiment, try a few out and try something like this. Though this, it's going to be hard for you to find. But try something like this, which is, I think, a little more traditional. Maybe not with those two different grinds, but it has more of a sweep like a traditional, though you can see that it still has that secondary point. Or something more, you should get something like this and something more faceted, like the big one I was showing off. It'd be interesting to check out. You might, if you're a Warncliffe guy, I feel like Warncliffe and American Tanto people are kind of parallel, or their Venn diagram has a very large overlap. You know what I mean? Does that seem accurate? And I think it's because of that almost straight edge leading up to the very straight edge at the front. Defo Zappo says, a year ago, I finally got the knife I wanted as a teenager. Oh, the Cold Steel Black Bear. Yeah, I have mine out. Awesome knife. Not happy with some of their new stuff. Had ton of chipping. Oh, really? Just cutting zip ties. Defo, tell us what knife. I'm curious. But here's my Black Bear. I got one with a leather sheath on eBay, and it's so awesome. I love it. Glad you mentioned it. Sean Clark says, yeah, Bob, I think the one Elishewicz showed on his Instagram was mine after Top Edge was sharpened. I believe looking forward to Saratoga next week. Yeah, me too, man. I am so I'm sorry, I was about to sing. I'm very excited. I'm going to bring some Bowie knives. Not too many. I don't want to. I'm kind of worried. I don't know. Not kind of worried, but I don't have too many of my nice knives with me as I travel. I don't know what I'm expecting. Stand and deliver. Hand over your knives. Hey, James, how you doing, sir? Gaston Monescu, or better known as James. Hello, everyone. I don't use knives in combat, so among the choices, Bowie is the one for. Well, I don't use knives in combat either, James. But let's talk more like Tanto, clip point, or daggery. Within the realm of your high-end customs. He's got an awesome collection of like really premium knives. And within that realm, you have knives that fall into those categories. Actually, probably not Tanto, I'm guessing. But let me know within those categories what you prefer. Imran says, Bailout, Umnumzan, and Tikal Guardian are all great Tanto blades, in my opinion. I love the Umnumzan for its I like how it's a hollow grind right up to the end, and then it's like boop, a little wedge tip. I like that. I like that blade a lot. Coburn says, I got a fake Cold Steel Black Bear by MTech USA, only $25. You can get a lot of fake stuff for $25. No, that's cool. I mean, sometimes you got to scratch an itch. I understand. I have a Pagani watch that looks like a Rolex Explorer, a watch I would love to have, but you're never going to see me coughing up $9,000 for a watch. I just don't see that ever happening. Bam Bam, nice to have you here, Bam Bam. 100% Bowie. I like all the a heart on fire. Yes, this man knows what he likes. 100% Bowie. Fact for combat, self-defense, at work, survival, outdoor, you name it, all around effective. I agree. And something kind of interesting. I, of course, was showing the Bowie with the sharpened back edge, like the fully sharpened back edge. And then I showed off the the Trailmaster that has an excellent back edge for back cutting and stuff, but it's just a 0 ground swedge. It is not a all the way sharpened edge. So it is, you can do damage with that, or you can go all the way, like say the Puzon Predator Hunter Bowie. Oh, this is not a good example. This one right here, maybe the Tops Prather War Bowie, and the swedge is totally flat there, and you get a good 1/8 of an inch there for batoning. So I mean, I like this. I like the super sharp. I like the 0 ground, and then the flat is good too, but I really like the 0 ground. Shane says there were several blade shapes in the Call of Duty universe, but this is the one you use in PvP. What's that? What's PvP? Defo says you can get the OSI for, I like the OSI and the OSS. Actually, I prefer the OSS, but the OSI is the one that's kind of a Wharncliffe, right? Or is a Wharncliffe. Basically the black bear, and it's incredible. Okay, that's the OSS, and yes, it is. And that's our on top of the fridge knife. We have an OSS. I had that long before I got the black bear, but the black bear was always in my sights. But the OSS is great, and that handle is so comfortable. Oof, and the double edge. But it would be cool to get the Wharncliffe version of that too, Coben. Scott Winters, nice to have you here, Scott, all the way from Virginia Beach. Hello, Bob, Jim, and fellow junkies from Virginia Beach. #knife, #knife for this. Okay, cool. I wanted to make sure I didn't. This beauty right here. By the way, cool clip, very low profile and deep carry without being obnoxiously deep carry. Coveted Carry Cartel, how's it going, Triple C? Has anyone said they prefer a dagger yet? Nope. No one high speed, low drag enough, I guess. I prefer an asymmetrical fighter. Sierra Rick, good to have you here, Sierra Rick. I'm just going to call you Rick. He says, Bob, good evening. And 3 blade shapes are designed for different purpose. I would think the Bowie is the best all around of the 3, in my opinion. I personally think so too. Though we're hearing news, we're hearing word from the field that the American style Tanto makes for a great outdoors knife. Here's a cool clip point I've been loving. Vlad says something that stabs and slashes well would be ideal for all around. Yeah, exactly. Because that means if it slashes well, that means it's a good slicer, a good cutting knife. And if it stabs well, it means it has a good point. Chopping might be something too. That would be the American Tanto. Stab and or slash plus stab with a secondary point. Add serrations for extra damage. Yes, I have it, Vlad. I have the 5.5 inch Voyager Tanto with the serrations, and that's wicked. And to have those serrations, we like to talk about, or at least I like to think about how wicked the serrations are on the recurve of, say, a Vaquero, but on the straight edge of a Tanto, they are really, really extra nasty on that straight edge. Because as we know from the Wharncliffe and stuff that Michael Janich has done, the Wharncliffe and that straight edge just keeps biting all the way to the tip. And you add serrations to that, and you're in a world of hurt. I need some rubbing alcohol to get whatever is on here off. Hero Stick says, evening, cheers, Bob, Jim, and Junkies. Thursday Night Knives is here again. Yes, it is, sir. Here, I'll put this down with this. Look at how big that Puzon Predator Hunter is. You can put a whole SOG Tech Bowie on top of it. Oh, I wish they didn't do that. I wish SOG didn't have an obsession with putting their name all over everything. Like, it didn't need it. It says it right here. It's like less than 2 inches away. It says SOG right here. And then if it's in the sheath, it says SOG right here. So, I mean, come on, guys. How I'm not going to forget, moving my eyes from the handle to the blade, who made the blade. Victor, nice to have you here. We have 2 Victors in our audience tonight. And who knows, maybe my dad is snoozing to Thursday Night Knives as well, and then that would make it 3. Staten Island Edge, Bob, Jim, fellas, Nice to be here, and I hope everyone is well. Well, thank you, sir. Uh, I'm doing well. I hope you're doing well. I have a hard time making decisions. So aesthetically, Dagger. Practicality, Bowie. Utility, Tanto. I have teenage daughters. I'm diplomatic. I have one and another teenager in the making, Victor. And I totally get your strategy. I get it. Bam Bam says, even though I'm seeing more and more Tanto folding knives these days, once people start EDCing a Bowie, the scales fall from their eyes and true love begins. Yes. I mean, look at them. Look at them. Here. Look at this. I mean, can you imagine if you could just EDC this around? Now, technically, I could technically, but I would be overrun by pearl catchers, pearl clutchers, and other types, and it wouldn't go well for me. But man, alive, I agree with you. Look at that thing; it's just beautiful. And I've always said the Praetor War Bowie, they needed to make another version of this with a fully sharpened swedge, because that would be more than half of that back edge, and it would be like having a Gnunting. It would be like having two knives in one. How sweet would that be? You'll see how sweet that would be when we get to a pocket check. An American father says, I bought a new goat breeding buck yesterday. He's a beast. I thought of you and Jim and named him KJ. Right on. My neighbors will love hearing me scream, come on, Junkie. I love it. American father, that's awesome. You named your goat, your breeding stud, after me and Jim. Jim, you hear that? That's right. We're going to buy each other lunch next week. That's pretty cool. Blessed EDC. Good to have you here, Blessed EDC. Be blessed, he says. Well, you be blessed too, sir. Thank you very much. I am, and I hope you are too. Have a Knife Day says the Black Hawk Tatang, that's what I was talking about, is featured in the video Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. That's the game I played way back in 2008, I think, and is why I purchased one. How many others have purchased knives used in video games? That's a good question. I got that. I never got the Tatang, but my good friend Ian, who I bought weeks ago, and I still have to collect it from him. I bought a Bastinelli Separateur from, the Gnunting. But he had one of those Tatangs, and what a sweet knife that was. Probably sold it. He can't hold on to knives. He just sells his knives. Just tell me every time you get rid of a knife, tell me, I'll buy it. Bob Tism, nice to have you here, Bob Tism. Hey, goobers. What's up, butt nugget? Vlad says, most knife fights, murders happen with kitchen knives because they are the most common and accessible. Yeah. Sometimes I think about that, man. I'm like, someone breaks into our kitchen or into our house. Our kitchen is, well stocked, like everyone's well stocked, but I know they're all super sharp. Anyway, doesn't matter. Johnny Evans, nice to have you here, Johnny. Just got in. Listen. Oh, and you just, man, it seems like only yesterday that you were telling us about that sweet. What did you get last week? That was so cool. Anyway, just got in, listened on my way home from closing my restaurant. Oh, dude. I hear 1931 Leatherworks is here. I just got several things last couple of weeks to fit some TKL knives. Great stuff. He does make great stuff. Johnny, you've got restaurants. My wife and I both cut our teeth working in restaurants and both have a real soft spot for it. And we always go, someday maybe we would open a pizza shop or something. But I think that's really cool, and what a great and storied profession. Lost Shark says stabbing is prime with a spear point, like my Topps Wild Pig Hunter after the Russian military knife. I love the Wild Pig Hunter, and you're the only other person I've ever heard mention that it is modeled after a Russian military knife. Jerry C, nice to have you here, sir. Here's another great. Here, let me put this in here since we're talking. Somewhat like a Bowie knife. That thing is slicker than two eels in a barrel of snot, as they used to say. Jerry C says it's close, but I would have to go with the Tanto. I've just always loved Eastern and Oriental styling since I was a kid. Probably to do with being exposed to all the old kung fu and samurai moves. Yeah. When I was in high school, very late in high school, at the end of high school, I started doing Aikido, and I got really into Kathleen. Nice to have you here. Hello, all, she says. Hello to you, Kathleen. I started doing Aikido. That's when I started doing martial arts in general, but it started with Aikido, and I loved the look of the hakama, the split skirt, and the gi with the sword. I just thought it looked so cool, and that was how I got into. And at that point, I had just gotten the Cold Steel Tanto, 1988. Oh man, I was in that. I really, that was my entree into that, was samurai stuff. Rick says, Bob, good evening. For me, nothing like a hologram. Okay, I thought we read this one, but Rick says, Bob, good evening. Good evening to you, sir. Of all three blade shapes, the Bowie is the best all-around use blade shape. For me, nothing like a hologround Tanto. Yes, yeah, I really like the hologround Tantos, and this Lum has just walked off with my heart. I love it. I love a hologround anything, and for a while I was turned off from them. I think Nothing Fancy somehow turned me off from them because he was all into his FFGs. Again, back in 2009 or 2008. But I love hologround blades. Edgy American says, you should always deploy more force than what is being used against you. Bang, bang. I mean, I cannot disagree. Who can? Critical Mass. Nice to have you here, Critical Mass. Hello, everybody. My collection consists of cold steel knives, swords, and buck knives. Oh my gosh. Well, who needs anything more? What do you guys think of budget blades on Amazon? What's your thoughts? Okay. I want to hear what other people are saying, but I got a couple of things to say. First of all, cold steel knives will always be my favorite since the very start. Since I first heard of them when I was a squirt in high school. I love cold steel knives, and that I have a no selling or getting rid of cold steel policy. So I love your collection. Also, I love buck knives, though I have a vastly smaller collection. Jim, go back. I'm sorry. What do you think of the budget blades on Amazon? What are your thoughts? If you don't follow him already, there's a guy, he goes by Legion Tactical. Gruggs, he seems to be a great guy, and he does reviews on fixed blade Amazon budget blades. He does so many of them. He gets a lot of really cool looking knives, and he bangs on them, and he really tests them. So check out his channel, Legion Tactical. Waylon Godfrey, nice to have you here, Waylon. Hey guys, well, how you doing, Waylon? Hope you're doing well. Johnny Evans says, also got a lucky dog from Northern. And I really like it. I'm looking forward to getting the Hot Rod chop knife. Very cool looking. How cool! I don't know the lucky dog, so that's another 3-dog knife. Very cool. Don't forget to use the knifejunkie.com/3dog knife link and Knife Junkie at checkout to save 25%. 25% on a 3-dog knife. Alec, good to have you here. Alec, evening junkies. Good evening to you, sir. I'd have to go Bowie out of those three. I think it's the most versatile, but nothing beats a good old drop point, in my opinion. Yeah. I say that begrudgingly. You're probably right. Coburn says, critical. The best Amazon knife is now the Hoke Bebet. I know that there are some really excellent knives, but the names, man, some of the names, and I don't know how you pronounce it. I'm sure it's got a way to pronounce it that sounds better than what I said. Shane says, look at me, I'm Bob. I not only knew that, I own the knife. Yeah. What are you talking about? Which one was it? I forgot. Not only do I know that, but I own it. Gary Bucco, nice to have you here, Gary. Greetings, Bob and Jim. Love your show. Well, thank you, sir. It's great to have you here with us, man. I've always been drawn to the clip point blade. Maybe because I grew up in the Wild West, also known as the great state of Arizona. All right, let me tell you something, Gary. This is a non sequitur to be sure. But at my school, at my younger daughter's school at pickup, she goes to a Catholic school. It's our church's school. And there's a car I've been seeing there, a really nice Bronco, new Bronco. I've been seeing there for the past, I don't know, week or so. And I've been behind it a few times. And it's from Arizona, and it's got its license plate is wood chipper. And then it's got a flag on the back that says Team Wood Chipper. And I think that's hilarious because I'm all for it. And if you know, you know. But you were talking clip points. Look at this beautiful clip point. That's my Randall. And so to me, like, this walks a fine line. You have a sharpened, fully sharpened swedge from here to here. And then obviously the regular edge is sharp. And then you've got the hollow ground. It's like it's walking the fine line. Is it a Bowie? No, it's a little bit too small. But they make Bowies. Randall starts calling their Bowies when they get a little bit bigger. I think it's the number 10 is a Bowie. And I think the number 14 Attack they call a Bowie. I may be mistaken about that. Jacob Vargas, nice to have you here, sir. Shane was asking about you, so do check in with Shane. Jacob says, good evening, Bob, Jim, and all the Thursday night knife junkies. Well, thank you, man. It's good to have you here and good to see your face. Well, your avatar. D. Letterman, evening, everybody. Well, good evening to you, D. Hope you're doing well. Paul Mills, hi, Bob. Sorry, a little late getting here. Hey, never have to apologize being late. I swim in those waters. I married into those waters. It's her one flaw. Little late and get, yeah, like I said, don't worry about it. But it's nice to have you here, Paul. And whatever that cool knife is, you told me once before, but I can't remember. I'm going to stash this. I forgot to mention my Cold Steel Recon Tanto. So cool. I bought back in the 80s when they were made in the USA. It's a very good camp knife. I bet it is. Yeah, my Tanto was made in Japan, actually. But it says Ventura, California, in like typewritten letters on the side. Fishbag says, Bob, my bad. My fingers typed Kershaw, but my brain meant Schrade. The Schrade Decimate. Oh, I know what that is. It's the Gnunting style machete. I remember I had a senior moment, but Michael, nice to have you. Michael's Car Addiction, who I used to call Michael Skarsgården or whatever because I'm an idiot. Michael's Car Addiction. Good to have you here, Michael. Hey, Bob and chat. I like a Dagger myself. All right. First guy to say Dagger. And stupidly, this is the only Dagger I have on the table. Not the only double-edged thing, but the only Dagger. So I'm going to hold this up before we get to this pocket check. I'm going to hold this up and just show this off in honor of him because he's the first guy to say Dagger. And I love this thing. Bill Harsey Jr., amazing. Blessed EDC says, Tanto knives matter. My Cold Steel Recon 1 Tanto name is Martha, and my Cold Steel SR1 Tanto is named Bertha. Do all you guys name your knives? Geraldine, Cliff, nice to have you here. Cliff Brot, Mr. Bread, good to have you here, man, with your cool fish. Hope you're doing well. Karen says, hello, Karen / James. Good to have you here. Bob, I've heard that proper Bowie fighting technique is blade up, clip down. Has anyone been fought? Has anyone? So that's not proper technique. That's a technique. Oftentimes it's called mountain man, like this. Sometimes I've heard it referred to as the Randall fighting technique. And because I think some people were taught that during World War II, where you take your Randall knife, because though they didn't have this handle, they had the number 1, and this is the number 1 blade. This is the number 16 handle, but taught to hold it like this with their finger over the guard and in this little well on the back of the blade, and to smash and slash with this sharpened edge, because this edge right here is sharp. Smash, hit, cut, thrust, and heave ho. The old heave ho is how I heard it, which is just nasty to consider. So World War II fighting technique I have heard, though I have not. I have no actual corroboration of that, like from videos or books or films, I should say. But I also know that this is, like I said, Mountain Man, and it's the same concept. You're using the back of the blade A to clash with the other blade, but you're also using that straight edge or that hooked edge, depending on the shape of your clip, to, you know, do damage. You know how nasty it is to get hit with a, well, maybe you don't, but a hawkbill blade is, hits extra hard. So yes, it is a technique, but not necessarily proper technique. It's just another cool and badass way. And if you watch Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, the knife fight, the guy that Butch fights, I think, the Paul Newman character fights, he has his Bowie blade upside down. And I remember seeing that as a kid thinking, how did the director let that go? But really the guy knew what he was doing. So Marcus, good to have you here, Marcus. Thank you for lasting through my bloviations. He says, good evening, y'all. I was excited to receive a Yo Jumbo breast cancer sprint run. Oh, I don't know about that. Admittedly, pink is my least favorite color, but it looks good with the all black DLC hardware. I would like to get one of those. Marcus, that's cool. All right. Well, I think I've said enough. Let's get to a pocket check.
What's in his pocket? Let's find out. Here's the Knife Junkie with his pocket check of knives.
In my front right pocket today, I had the Spartan Harzy folder, one I haven't carried in a long time. But I felt like something special today. Felt like carrying something special is what I meant. I didn't feel like something special, so I needed to carry a special knife to do that. And it was this, a trusty companion for a long time, but never quite as sharp. As one of these days I'm going to have this not reprofiled, but hollow ground, and it's always just kind of, it's sharp, but not terribly slicey, but an outstanding knife. I love it. I love the way it feels in hand. Again, another Bill Harzy design, like the Dagger I was just showing off. I think he's outstanding, and he's definitely in my top 5 of all-time designers, though I haven't ranked them, and couldn't actually tell you who they were right off the bat, but I know he's way up there. Beautiful knife. Had this on me, and it actually was an ESK also. It was an emotional support knife. Next up today was, I've been carrying this an awful lot. This is the second run of the Gateway Barlow by Jack Wolf Knives. This one in that cool Miami carbon fiber, something I would have never chosen on my own, but Ben of Jack Wolf Knives sent this to me, and I'm grateful he did, because it's cool to be exposed to things that you wouldn't choose on your own, and I love it. I've really fallen in love with this goofy looking carbon fiber. It's actually quite beautiful, and it looks like, it depends, but sometimes it looks like you're staring at a swamp at sunset, They're like, you're like, no, I don't know, Bob, but keep talking. Okay, next, my fixed blade today, and this kind of moved around. This is a great drop in the pocket fixed blade, but also it's a great fix to the pocket fixed blade. And this is the Harvey PK by Fisher Blades, their new EDC knife and their first EDC knife. They are all about the everyday defensive blades with their Beckwith Tanto and their McNasty daggers and the full-size versions of those. This was their first EDC knife, inspired by their grandfather Harvey, and also, that was the spiritual inspiration for this knife. And then the knife inspiration for this knife, or the style cues, come from the Burden Trout knife. So a full-size handle, smaller blade that allows you, with chimping up front, that allows you to really get around in tight little spaces, but gives you a lot of, and gives you a nice 3-inch length of blade. That's a little less than 3-inch length of blade to use, but a big, nice bit of handle. So I've really liked this knife. It's not what I initially, again, kind of like this carbon fiber. I probably would go for the Dagger or the McNasty before this because they're more tactical. But man, this knife is so good. I love it, and I've been carrying it a lot, just dropping it in my pocket oftentimes. And this is the sheath, really excellent. You can adjust the level of retention with that screw there and that little rubber ring there, and then it's got a DCC clip. So very excellent sheath. And then lastly, my ESK, my emotional support knife, was the Pinkerton, Dirk Pinkerton Razorback. Remember before I said what it would be like to have a curve, have a Gnunting on one side and then a Bowie on the other. Well, this is what I was referring to, because that fully sharpened back edge is really easily utilized. And I generally use the word used, but in some cases, the utility of that curved edge can really be accessed with this awesome handle. It's almost neutral, and you can saber grip it this way in reverse and have a, that sort of hawkbill style blade. I just love this knife. This is one that I got from him, I don't know, several years back. And this might be the one that we decide to make when he makes a custom knife for us to give to you for the 50,000 giveaway. So when we reach 50,000 subscribers, Dirk Pinkerton will make us a custom knife, and I will give it to you in something like the giveaway we do tonight. So this is what I had on me today. I want to find out what you guys were carrying. I had the Spartan Harzy folder. I had the Jack Wolf Knives second run of the Gateway Barlow. I had the beautiful new and charming Harvey PK standing for pocket knife. And then, from Fisher Blades, sorry. And then my ESK today was this beautiful thing, man. I love his knives so much. Yep, Dirk is also up there in my top 5. All right. Tell me what you were carrying. I want to know. Let's find this out. Bob Tism says, at the end of the day, I've never poked a target, so it's all hypothetical. Do you mean a target like you've never been in a scrape where you've had to cut someone, or do you mean you've never like set up a cardboard target or like stab meat or stuff like that? Because if you haven't, you should. It's fun. It's actually really fun. Alex says, if we can translate Bowie into meaning any clip point, then my custom auxiliary manufacturing Runt XL is my favorite knife. That's a great knife. I don't have it, but I've hefted it. I was about to say something so inappropriate by accident. I'm glad I didn't. Instead of heft, I was about to say something else. It's funny. Anyway, Will, how you doing, Will? Will just bought a cool knife from me, and also someone else was mentioning the Odin Wolf. Like I said, I have it for sale, so email me. But Will B got my original Steadfast. I had the Steadfast and the Steadfast Large, and I just felt like I should let the Steadfast regular go. Anyway, I should say Steadfast 5.5. Evening, Bob, Jim, and Junkies. Just finished installing a Ring doorbell. Yes, got to have something like that. I just picked up a Microtech Combat Troodon Bowie. Sweet. Does that have a sharpened swedge? I've always wondered. I usually prefer Bowies over Tantos for ease of sharpening. Yeah. I guess it's you cut down on the different surfaces. The amount of time. It's funny, the door we've gotten. We don't have a Ring, but we have something similar, and we've just been adding cameras, mostly to the outside. But it's good to have cameras. I mean, we don't obsess over them, but like my daughter, I had a Hollister order coming in, and she was like, "Dad, can I access the cameras?" And I'm like, "No, child." Hero Stick says, Bob, I've been seeing some endorsements for the travel carry solution offered through Armis Knife and Tool Travel paring knife sheath. Oh, that's cool. Sheath gets through TSA. You land by a cheap knife and you're good. Yeah, I got one. They're awesome. Oh, thoughts? They're great. I have one. No, but when he was on the show, he told me about it, and I jumped on and bought one. I also bought another sheath from him. I bought a VSK, ambidextrous VSK mini sheath, and it fits my Northman perfectly. So he does great sheaths. Have a Knife Day says, if you want to start a fight in an antique Bowie knife association, you'll ask, what is a Bowie knife? Oh God, I love that. Oh wait, am I wearing your shirt? No, I was wearing your shirt yesterday. Have a Knife Day. The one with the old school Bowie with the coffin shaped guardless clipless Bowie. Many shapes fall into the category, but the clip point is the most popular. Yeah, in my humble opinion. Yeah, me too. When I talk about Bowie knives, it's got to have a clip. For me personally, it's got to have a clip. You can show me something that does not look like a Bowie, that doesn't have a clip, and call it a Bowie knife, and I will not be rude. Who knows? Well, I mean, with you, Michael, we could have a good debate, but yeah, the general person comes up and says, how do you like my San Francisco Bowie? I'll say, it's beautiful, but it's not a Bowie, but it's beautiful. Hanway Military Tanto says, Lost Shark, North Mountain Blades, Tantos, and APOC Tanto for productions. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yes. Okay. Thank you. You're answering my question. Hanway Military Tanto. North Mountain Blades Tantos I know very well, and the APOC Tanto too. The Hanway I'm not as familiar with, but yeah, I like a good Tanto. Clint Moon, nice to have you here, Clint. The longer the blade, as long as you can wield it, the more useful it is in combat. Same reason an untrained person with a spear can beat a skilled person with a sword. Range is king. Yeah. Yes, no doubt, but there's always a but. And this is a big, juicy one. No, I'm just kidding. No, the but in this one is, I feel like if someone very skilled with a sword against someone with a spear who's not skilled, if that guy with the sword is really good with range and timing, he can get in close within the spear's arc of damage or whatever. But I don't know. I've never fought anyone with a spear. Actually, I've done collie sticks versus like big staff, and yeah, you're right. That is hard. And actually, against even a fencing foil is really, really hard. And it's for the reason you're mentioning. It's that range reason. So maybe you got a point. Angry Tom's hat next door. I like the cut of your jib. 17th to 18th century British maritime slang. Yes, don't we all? Don't be a dog-faced pony soldier about it, Angry Tom, to quote our former president. I love that. That's the best thing he ever said. And actually, it is used in our house as a genuine slur, a dog-faced pony soldier. It started as a joke, but it's become real. It's a great slur. You dog-faced pony soldier. And it's no one in particular. It's like you're not dissing anyone's ethnicity with that. It's a good, clean insult. Cesario says, I love practicing with all three, but the American Tanto is my go-to for most tasks. #knife. What do you practice, Cesario? Are you a Caliador or some sort of blade martial artist? Let me know. Bob Tism says, a Venn diagram of used my knife to open Amazon packages and use my knife to cut zip ties and not use my knife for collecting. Yeah. Oh. Huh. Yeah, we got to draw these out. No doubt. Where did I put the one I just wanted? Oh, I don't know why you reminded me of this, but I want to cut zip ties with this beauty. And I got to say, what's up, y'all, says Lion, not a sheep. How you doing, Lion? Good to have you here. I thought I could have said hello to you, man, but I can't tell this week from last week. Things are just nuts. Clint Moon says, only Tanto-ish blade I have is the TCal Guardian 2 reverse Tanto. That's awesome. Before you clip off of this, Jim, let me just say something I love about this knife and others like it. say like the police officer. This right here, opening it and closing it. There's no drop shut. It's just you just power it out, and I like that. I like that. I like washer action. I like the action of a nice lockback. So I'm not I don't know. I mean, I do like these things a lot, like this Civivi over yonder. It's so great. What a great knife. And I love it, but I don't need it to fall shut to be happy. Defo says, I got a fin bear in Aus 8. I love those fin bears from Cold Steel as a beater knife. Even saw videos of people beating in it. But the edge was chipped horribly, like 6 zip ties. Oh, what? I wonder what steel. Oh, did you say Aus 8? And it chipped from zip ties? That doesn't seem right. That seems maybe you got a counterfeit. Their Aus 8 is, if nothing else, it's tough as hell. It's not very chippy. If anything, it's not very chippy. So I wonder if you got a anyway, if you got a fake as well. A fugazi, that's the word I was looking for. Paul says, I got my Brown Knives prototype #1 Cortex Mini today. Pretty sweet little knife. Paul, that I cannot see that in my mind's eye, but that sounds awesome. Brown blades, I'm sure it's an amazing acquisition. So congratulations. Jacob Vargas says, I really like the Edgy American Knives Junkie knife there, Bob. Oh, let me show you. Here it is. Here. We put these away and I'll show you the beauty. I love this thing. Oh, wait, we got to give this knife away. Holy mackerel. All right. But this is after I show this off and after he reminds me what the scale material is. So cool. It's like Kevlar micarta or something. Jacob, nice to have you here. Jacob Green. Greetings, Knife Junkies. Roller coaster last 2 weeks. Cyst removal, totaled car, transfer request, purchasing a marriage license on Monday. Cyst is benign, thank God, and insurance will wipe out car loan debt. Well, wow, man. Geez, that is a whirlwind, a roller coaster. Thank God you're okay. And on both of those accounts, man, whew. Stormy waters, peoples. We all gotta navigate them sometimes. That's something, man. Jeremy Nedro, nice to have you here, Jeremy. Bowie blade because it's all American and it can be used for everything. Jeremy, on that note, well, I can't agree more. And on that note, we're going to do this knife giveaway. But before I put this away, I want to I also want to say that this is crewware too. So now I have 3 crewware knives. These two also coming from Shane of Edgy American Blade Works. And then my third is a Steingraber Performance Knives Shark. And that is a sweet knife too. I like, so far, I like crewware. It's sharp. All right, let's do this. Let's give this knife away. Where is it? Here it is. Adamanti Samson. This beauty designed by Russian knife purveyor Brutalica. I used to follow him, and I need to follow him again. I liked his posts, but I don't follow a lot of people after I was kicked off and came back on. But look at the cool bolsters on this. You got bolsters, beautiful forest green G10 with that nice texturing, those little checkers in there, and those little tiny little white dots. I tried to clean it with a paper towel, which was stupid. But I like to swab the knives down that I send out with alcohol, and I did that, but then I picked it up and grubbed it up anyway. So that's what those things are. So if I forget to brush those out with a brush, ne'er you worry, they're not grossness. It's just a little bit of paper towel. Beautiful blade. I mean, a really beautiful blade. That gorgeous fuller down the center and the bayonet ground blade. Outstanding action on bearings. And then those cruciform double quillions that wave on the way out of your pocket. So if you carry this for self-defense, all you got to do is draw it out of your pocket, snag one of those little quillions, and the blade will deploy and be in your hand. Quicker than a switchblade, quicker than a Valley song, quicker than assisted open, quicker than your Spidey flick. So who wants this knife? Hashtag knife. Let's do this, Jim. Let's bring up the wheel. Man alive, I'm parched. 81, 82 entries. Fantastic. All right, let's do this in 3, 2, and 1. Here we go. Here we go. All right. Don't get your hopes up because it'll stop on you and then it'll pick the guy after you. That's what happens. An American father. Awesome. An American father. Couldn't happen to a nicer guy. Okay, this is yours, sir. American father. Send me your address. I don't think I have your address. Even if I have it, I always like people to send it just so it's easier for me to find if it's not in my shipping app. Look at that beauty. This is yours, an American father. Congratulations, sir. This will go out to you, hopefully, on the morrow. Though I don't know what the morrow brings. None of us do we? No, we don't. Okay, I showed you my native chief. We gave away a knife. All right, let's wing it. Have a Knife Day says, I love the Prather. Got one early in my collecting journey. Also, PvP is player versus player. Instead of fighting a computer-generated foe, you're actually fighting another player. So it could be someone sitting in the room with you or someone online, right? Yes, Bob. That's called video game playing. Mars Capone. Good to have you here, Mars Capone. One of my favorite cheeses. Cheese keeps coming up tonight. So I own several daggers, 2 Tantos, and no Bowies. Mars Capone, you're breaking my heart. I guess I prefer to collect daggers, but I don't use them. Hope I never need to. No kidding. Mars Capone, both of my daughters love daggers. It's like they have this natural draw to them. And I know when they graduate from high school, I'm going to get them little custom daggers, probably from Matt Chase. But check out this dagger if you like daggers. Isn't this thing cool? I just traded Dave of OG Blade Reviews for this SBD dagger. It's so cool. Christopher Miranda. Christopher, nice to have you here, sir. Miranda Powell. I love daggers. Cold Steel Drop Forge Wasp. Oh, the Wasp is so cool. I love the shape. I guess that's why he calls it the Wasp. It's wasp waisted, as they say, but it's got that curve in, kind of like the Gerber Mark II classic, the greatest Gerber ever made, even though mine rusted to really, it rusted into dust practically. Jacob, there's nothing I could do to stop it either. I mean, I've had knives rust before. This was weird. It's like it was infected. Jacob Green says, I love your interview with the Culbertson brothers. Oh, cool. I enjoyed that a lot. I am now addicted to their sparring videos. They convinced me to make my next knife a Cold Steel Voyager XL with the serrated Vaquero blade. You cannot go wrong, sir. You cannot go wrong. Though, you could also get something like this after that, because the Vaquero XL is a must-have. This is a luxury. The other is a must-have. But this thing, you've seen them spar with this. This does better than the bigger regular Bowies. Bam Bam says, yo, Bob, I found a fun budget-friendly stealth combat cleaver by Wartech. Stone-washed extreme clip point. Oh, sounds cool. Pointer finger groove, blade 8 inches, handle 4 3/4 overall, 13 3/8. Was able to EDC one to what? Was able to EDC one today. No kidding. Stealth combat cleaver by Wartech. I don't know them. Oh, Wartech. I like the name. It's a promising name with the kind of knives I like. Coben says, I'm getting my last Cold Steel Tanto soon. The 12-inch San My Warcraft. Why do you say your last Cold Steel? Coben, are you stopping collecting after that? I doubt it, sir. Or do you mean like your most recent purchase is that? Hopefully that's what you mean. I don't want to hear that you're stopping buying Cold Steels. Defo says, does anyone remember the Cold Steel Desperado? It had the curved Vaquero blade, but an egg for a grip. My buddy had one in high school, and I've wanted one ever since. Super rare now. Don't know what you're talking about, Defo. I'm just kidding. Defo, I wanted one of these also since you were in high school. Of course, I was much older, but I've wanted one of these things for, 25 years, 30, 25 years, whatever, something like that, since they were discontinued. And could never get one. Never. Every once in a while, I could find one for very expensive. And then someone right here, I don't know if Strings is with us tonight, but someone who comes to this show a lot offered it in trade to me, and we traded. And yes, so Defo, I'm glad you bring this up. And this I happen to have out because I wanted to talk about it when I interviewed Lynn Thompson on Monday night, and actually we did talk about it a little bit. Such a cool knife. And there is a chance you could get one. You know what I mean? Like I got one. It took a while, and it took a little finessing. Well, it didn't take much finessing, actually. It just took a little waiting and watching. But wait and watch. You'll love it. You will love it. You will love it. Desperado, awesome knife. And man, I just wish they would make another fixed blade version, whether it's the Desperado with the egg-shaped handle or just a regular handle somehow shaped, but they need to make a fixed blade of this. Come on. Clint says, just got the Work Tough Gear Wolverine Gen 2. I don't know what that one looks like, but I know it's cool because I love Work Tough Gear. All six caps. Good to have you here, sir. Hello, gentlemen. Well, hello to you. Hope you're doing well on this evening. I love that SOG Bowie fighter. Me too. So now I'm thinking I want to get the stacked leather version of it. Where did I put it? It's right in front of me. I want to get the stacked leather version, the classic version of this. Now, I do have the stacked leather version of the Super Bowie, which is 7 inches and just honestly a totally different knife, but I like it. Chris Dyke, good morning from Germany. Guten Morgen, mein Schatz. I'm just kidding. My daughters think it's funny that mein Schatz means my sweetheart. But anyway, good morning, sir. I hope you're doing great in Deutschland. I love it over there. We were there 2 years ago, and I've been there several times before that, but it's awesome. And I think it's amazing to think that I'm talking to someone right now. We are talking with someone in Germany. We're talking with someone in Australia and oftentimes Turkey, Greece, and other places. So how cool is it that this hobby affords us this? Coben says, I only have one SOG. It's the Nemoto Fighter knife. Is that a recurve, Tanto? Fishbag says it gets overlooked a lot, but in addition to its obvious talents, the Cold Steel Recon Tanto is a beast around the campsite. I bet. What about it wouldn't be? Why wouldn't it be an awesome camp/survival knife? Have a Knife Day says ADV Tactical has a combo Bowie Tanto blade, the freak, best of both worlds. I think I remember that one. I like that, though. I love the idea of that. Defo says Blackhawk made essentially the Spyderco Yojimbo, yeah, with Michael Janich, but it was called the Be Warned. Yeah, as in Warncliffe. Yeah, it looks a lot like the Yojimbo one, the first Yojimbo. Tops El Pionero. I would love to have a Tops El Pionero, but of course the back edge sharp. Rick says, Bob, 8010 hollow grind. Yes, I have one. S35 VN made in Taiwan, solid lockup, under 70. This thing is sweet. Thanks. So I have the 8010 with the hollow grind also, which I believe means it was the very first run in S35 and hollow ground, because pretty sure after that they moved to the flat grind, like the 8015 that came out at the same time. Fishbag says, American Father is the man. Now I want to get a goat and name him Bob. Bob Jim. No, Jim Bob would sound better. Come on, everyone. Let's all support the channel and go get goats. I think that's a fantastic idea. And then name them after me and Jim. Will said, hey, that looks like the big brother of the knife that someone sold me recently. Wonder who that was. Yeah, this thing is just... It is. And the cool thing about this is one of the, I have a lot of knives, and I'm not saying that as a brag, but I'm saying I have a lot of knives, so most of them don't get any use. This one has gotten use outside, as has the one that Will has. And and all my other work tufts. They're great. This one has gotten the least though, but I have started a fire with it and done all the fire sticky stuff and made kindling with it. Alex says just got a Hensley made field scalpel in his last drop. Hensley made field. Okay, I don't know him. Hensley handmade field scalpel in his last drop. Wildly thin hollow ground ABL pocket fixie. I love that. Wildly thin. That's so cool. And hollow ground. Beautiful. Oof. William, nice to have you here. William Horn Bostel. Look at that. Look at that hostile trash panda. Is that what that is? Cute. Good to have you here, William. Johnny says, I like to wear a large knife every day, and it's a great conversation starter with knife junkies. Never had anyone complain, but it is Alabama. Yeah, and you're a restaurant guy. It's like, yeah, of course I have knives. Haven't I? You're like, Bowie knife, why not? You can use that in the kitchen. They used it on the frontier. Have a Knife Day says the James Williams Japanese-inspired blades, absolutely, so beautiful. Be they directly from him or the CRKT collaborations. Well, I'm not going to spill too much tea, but watch on Sunday, watch the Lynn Thompson interview, and you'll see, you'll get a glimpse of one of the knives he's coming out with. And it might sound a little bit like what you just mentioned. Ed Calderon offers training courses where virtually no modified kitchen knives are used, says Chris Dyke. Or I'm sorry, where only modified. Yes, his those organic medium testing and they do all sorts of crazy stuff. Escape and resistance kind of stuff. Vlad says, I love the old martial arts films. They were definitely an influence. Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, now I'm sorry. I just went somewhere. Coben says, I like the CRKT HZ4 and HZ6. I have that HZ6, and damn it, I wish I brought it out tonight. That is a sweet knife. But Williams made way bigger versions, but only made 50 to 75. It's tragic. Yeah. They might bring those things back. They release under the Williams Blades brand. They release knives in small batches. They'll come back. They'll come back. Come on, get your head up. Put your head up. You'll be fine. I got this. Defo says, heck yeah. When I was 14, I went to Iaido class, wore the hakama and everything. They let me use a live blade. Probably can't get away with that anymore. Yeah, no kidding. Not with a 14-year-old. Iaido, the art of drawing the sword and cutting, shaking the sword and resheathing, kind of in all one motion, right? It's like a very zenned out sword practice, but deadly. Strings, the gentleman who is responsible. Thank you. Good evening, Bob, Jim, and knife junkies of the world. Happy Thursday night knives. I'm definitely in the Bowie camp. Why? Because they are badass. Yeah, why else? Why else? Love me a Bowie, says William. I've always been into throwing stars and nunchucks since I was a kid. Throwing stars. So, William, have you gotten those giant, awesome, big, sharp throwing stars from Cold Steel? I don't know why I keep forgetting to buy those, but I mean, I want those. I need to get those. There's no way I can miss with those. And how cool would it be if, no, it wouldn't be cool to have to use them. But if you imagine if you were the guy who actually used throwing stars to like defend the house, how cool would that be? Jacob says, I mean, in addition to other things, I trained in Hapkido for 8 years. So did my wife. That was her first martial art. We are the mentally unstable spectrum disorder cousin of Aikido. Broken bones, dislocated joints, bloody noses, puking. I've seen it all on the mat. Now, I knew Hapkido for, they did a lot of cool joint locking and throwing. That's what I remember. I never did it, but I remember observing a class. Commander Bell, nice to have you here, Commander Bell. Good evening, junkies. I'm cooking turkey wings in the Dutch oven. Oh my gosh, that sounds awesome, man. That sounds awesome. Is the Dutch oven in an oven itself, or is it over the fire? Coben says, I love Cold Steel. I have enough, though. I will only buy Nemoto knives. Well, that's cool. You know, it's good to have discipline in your collecting. I can't say that from firsthand knowledge, but I can surmise. Vlad says quality to value ratio is very high on Cold Steel for sure. I couldn't agree more. I couldn't agree more. And some SOGs, for instance, this SOG is very well built. So I think SOGs who are also part of GSM, I think they are a pretty good quality knife too, at least in their fixed blades right now. I'm not sure about their folding knives these days. But last I checked, those were way better than they ever were for many years. William says, I have a Cold Steel machete sword. Yeah, they're great. They're great. They make those in South Africa. They export them, or they have a machete maker down there that does that. Legion Tactical has a great channel, says Jeremy Nedro. I love some of the budget knives from Amazon. Yeah, and he takes them through their paces too, which I respect. I like these guys. To quote Michael Elliott, actually, I like these guys who test their knives so I don't have to. Jay Wesley, good to have you here. Jay Tanto, because I'm a Cold Steel fanboy at heart, and I always love the Cold Steel Tantos. Me too. The Cold Steel Tantos are the jam. Hak Bebet, is that Ukrainian or something? I don't know. I have no idea. Hey, everyone, says Miranda Wilmore. Miranda, hope you're doing well. Good to have you here. William says, I was stabbed by a Rambo knife in upstate New York. Almost died, but got 3 miracles in one night. Wow. That's dramatic. And man, a Rambo knife, that must have been extra painful with those damn serrations on the back. Holy mackerel. Glad you made it out. I'm so glad you made it out. And 3 miracles, man. Some people don't even get one. So you're a lucky man. Cadillac Forge, good to have you here, Cadillac. Randall is awesome. Yes, I cannot disagree with you there either. I would love to have a big Randall collection. It doesn't have to be that big. I want the 1 and the 2. I have the 2. I have the 16 with the 1. I got the 14, or I want the 14 the attack, and I want the 10, the Bowie. Just the regular Bowie, the sportsman Bowie. I don't need the big Smithsonian. That's it. I find people wood chipper go burr. Yes, Scott. How you doing, Scott? Hope you're doing well. Yeah, I love that. I personally liked seeing that. I'm with you. And it was a lady driving it too. Coben says Amazon Freelander also sells a Tanto. What's Freelander? Amazon Freelander also sells a Tanto for $40. That's a copy of a $500 North Mountain Blades Tanto. Either that or Hak Bebet is the king of Amazon knives. No kidding. Freelander. Okay, I'm gonna have to look that up. Drools in Randall Lust. Yes, sir. Well, you have some Randalls, right? You've got one with a stag handle. That's like that's a daydream of a Randall. My Knife Journey. Good to have you here, My Knife Journey. Hello, all. I won the Shed Knives US Tanto. That's right. That's one chunky tank of a knife. Thank you, fellow junkies. Our pleasure. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Vlad says, nice chat, folks. Good night. Vlad, have a wonderful evening. Have a great weekend. Remember, the weekend starts here, right here on Thursday. Have a great weekend, man. String says, hey, brother, Boker has the Marlowe Squale on sale right now for $65. What a steal for one of my favorite folders of all time. I know you like it as well. I actually carry mine frequently. I love that knife. And actually, that is my grail knife would be to have an actual Charles Marlowe Squale. Oh, God, that's beautiful. And I want the pup too. But they discontinued that ages ago. I thought the Squale was long discontinued, but I guess I'm wrong. Defo says, one of these days I have to break the bad news to the wife that I need a Randall. Yeah. You know how I've been saving up? It's not for Hawaii. Coben says, I don't have any Randall. I saw one for sale. It cost $8,000. Well, you saw a pretty expensive Randall. They are expensive for sure. But I'm curious as to why the one you saw was 8,000. There's got to be something like really extremely special about it. Hero Stick says, anyone handled the Microtech M Stitch? No. 3.05 blade yet, so it's a smaller stitch? No. The James Black Bowie #1 is ergonomically designed to be used edge up. Okay. That's the one on the t-shirt I was wearing yesterday, I think. Raging Warlock. Nice to have you here, Raging Warlock. Good morning from Singapore. How awesome. You magnificent bastards. And beaches. Daggers for Bowie's. Daggers for clam. Bowie's for steak. What is the first one? And Tantos with tomahawks. Right on. Okay, wait. The first one. I can't tell. Is that an oyster? Daggers for oysters, Bowie's for steak, and Tantos with tomahawks. Man, I love them all. I love everything about that sentence, including Singapore, a place I'd love to visit someday. Michael says, my favorite knife I own is a World War II Camillus M3. I bet. That sounds awesome. I love the M3 with its half double-edged bayonet blade and the stacked leather handle and that cool sort of thumb forward guard. I love that is such a cool knife. I love that knife. Fishbag says, today was the Cold Steel 3V AD10 XL Voyager drop point, SR1, Black Talon 2, Swift 3, Lucky 2, and CJRB double tap and Kaiser Militaw. Man, that's some serious Cold Steel goodness. Shane says, in the pocket today was the Freeman 451. How cool. Watch pocket was Sage 5 Rex 121. Sage 5. What is that? Sage 5 is don't tell me. It's the compression lock. That's when Spyderco, who named an entire series after the sages, the wise men of knife making, decided that they could start calling themselves stages and did that. And then the top liner lock. So they saged themselves twice. Angry Tom says, zero tolerance 0203 CPM M4 OD Green G10. That sounds sweet. Is that the new one? Because they restyled it a little bit, didn't they? Defo says, every day is PM2 with Lotus scales and pocket clip removed. Oh, okay. I'm all about maximum comfort. It's a boring knife, but it works too good. No, it's not boring. That sounds pretty sweet. But do you keep it in a slip or just drop it in your pocket? Pardon me. Dan Stan, good to have you here, Dan. Sorry, Dan Stan EDC. Carried Spyderco Para 3 in 15V. Vosteed Croc 329 in S35VN, the Kubi Cayman Sanmai M2, Olatan's Mini Mastiff 14C28, and CRKT Spew, Smoky Mountain Knife Works exclusive in D2. Very nice. Olatans. Rings a bell. I think we may have given away an Olatans here that Dave sent. Maybe. Sorry. Oh, geez, that was a little spasm there of a couple of different things, a couple of different functions, including blurting. William says, just finished sharpening my Odin Wolf sow catcher, 9 inches of gladiator looking D2. Such a cool knife. I love that thing. Clint Moon says, also just bought a Baby Moon Blades Razorback. Oh, cool. Strings says, carry today on the belt, Boker Marlowe Squale, right front. How did you wear that on your belt? Did you have that in a pouch? Right front pocket, Arno Bernard titanium folder with jeweled thumb stud. Ooh, that sounds nice. Arno Bernard. Button lock, left front pocket, Victorinox nail clip. Ooh, very nice. Boker Squale, man. Fellow traveler, as the commies say. Jacob Green says, my carry today was a Voyager XL clip point, front right pocket, and a Formax Scout with snaggletooth for the left pocket. I like that. Carry because, of course, I need dual fighting knives on me when when walking to work. Of course. I would put a snaggletooth on that clip point too. Johnny says, all T-Kel all week. Love it. Outrider on the belt at 2 o'clock. A 001 appendix, combatant left front pocket, adversary right pocket. Man, so the one thing that vexes me is the 2 o'clock on the outrider. It doesn't vex me. I mean, you wear what you want. I'm always a 4 o'clock. I try 3 o'clock. It's too far to the front. And so it's interesting that you like the 2 o'clock. Dan Stan says William Hornbostel. And a fist bump. Scott says, coins in my pocket, but a Bastinelli Mako, 2 stains under my armpit. Jesus. I don't know exactly what you're saying there, but it's funny, and it sounds. I'm hearing it with a accent from Great Britain. Not sure exactly which one. Terminator Joe says tonight, as stated, 2 Cold Steel Spada XL red and gray, Recon XL 6-inch tie light with S35 VN steel, my newly acquired SRK and CPM 3V steel in scout position, and Laredo Bowie in the pack. Gosh, I love the Laredo Bowie so much that I use the foul language like gosh. No, I really, really love my old Laredo. And man, I really want a leather sheath for my nachos. Love that thing too. Cold Steel Black Rhino. Yes. Were you carrying one? That's another one. That's like this. The Black Rhino is like this. I'd love to have a Black Rhino. I'll take a Razorback for the 50,000 giveaway, says Strings. Since I'm going to win, he can start on it right now. Okay, you just tell me the handle materials and the steel, and I'll tell him. William says, last night I sharpened my second T-Kel 004 Blem and wrapped it in paracord. That sounds so cool. I love these agents, the 007s. I saw Tomas's 007s with the jute wrap. That looked sweet. I love jute wrap, though. Clint Moon says, EDC today is the Benchmade Mini Bug Out and Baby Moon Blades Razorback. I'm going to have to check that out. Jarabitas 48. Jared, good to have you here. Went with a volunteer knife and tool folder. Volunteer knife and tool folder with an S-ground AEBL blade. Along with Lishan Cadet in AEBL and Desert Ironwood and copper pins and leather sheath. Hang on a sec. Volunteer knife. I don't know what that is, a volunteer knife. But what is an S-ground blade? Are you talking about a spiral blade where it starts where it starts and ends in very different thicknesses behind the edge, but there's no facet. It's not like a compound ground blade. Anyway, elaborate. T-Kel 001, simply the best. Thank you, sir. What am I going to do? Disagree? David Helka. Good to have you here, David. Spyderco Sage 5 lightweight Blade HQ exclusive mint green. Oh, I like that. FRN and M4. Also a Tucson TS 456. Who knows what that looks like? I know it's cool because it's a Tucson, but their naming convention just leaves me baffled. Mark Albee. Good to have you here, Mark. New Microtech Exoset 2 on keyring. Nobody knows it's a knife. Perfect. All right, guys. I think I'm pulling into the station here. Oh, all 6 caps. Says, today I had the Jack Wolf Backwoods Fixed EDC and a Spyderco Little Native in 20 CV. That's nice. That Fixed EDC is awesome. William says, I have 2 T-Kel 004s, CW folder. I want to get one of those, and a 002 Blem on the way. Very nice. Very nice. I want to get that CW folder. That's probably the next, maybe one of the big next folder purchases. Oh, yeah. No show next week, May 14th. So we won't be here, but I'll put a video up. I try to do that every time we don't do a video or every time we don't do a show. Sometimes it's not possible, but I will try to remember this next time. Join us for Lynn Thompson on Sunday. Such a great interview, and what a great dude, and what a great conversation. So do join us for that and find out about his new venture. All right, for Jim working his magic behind the switcher, I'm Bob DeMarco saying thank you so much for hanging out with me. You really lifted my spirits, and it's great to have you all here. So for Jim working his magic, I'm Bob DeMarco saying until next time, don't take dull for an answer.